Hello guys. Welcome back to yet another episode of Train Simulator Classic TSC Railworks. Today we're going to be looking at the new Tokyo Commuter line released by Union Workshop. Union Workshop is very well known for their Japanese roots, filling in a nice little niche. If you're a fan of Japan or you're a fan of commuter trains, chances are you've tried at least one of their routes, and if you haven't, you're really missing out. Even if you're not a big fan of commuter services, I do highly suggest checking out some of their stuff and just doing some free roam scenarios, because overall they're just excellently well detailed routes. But anywho, today it's actually a first look, for me anyway. Most of you that are watching this video have probably already seen other reviewers do videos on this, since I did not get to jump on this. But it's just released April 14th, and normally I try to avoid checking out routes early on, checking out any content early on, especially mainstream content that everybody and their mother's going to be watching for, because I don't want to be just another one of those that's putting out yet another video just like everybody else. But I'm going to make a little exception to my rule today, because I actually think it's worthwhile. Like I said, if you haven't checked out any of Union Workshop's stuff, you're really missing out, because these guys do excellent work. I've been following along with them since they started off with the Story of Forest Rail route, and it had me hooked on the whole Japanese series. It really did. It's another one that I hope to get to doing a video on one of these days, because it is an absolutely phenomenal design, even for back when that came out. But since then, these guys have really churned out some real hitters, real quality, nice stuff. So and again, here we are with some more nice stuff. So this is the Tokyo Commuter line. I'm not going to try to pronounce any of these words, because I don't speak other languages worth a flying flip. I barely took a year of German, and that year was 6 years ago. So yeah, I don't speak other languages very well, so I'm not going to try to butcher any names or whatnot. We're just going to call it the Tokyo Commuter line. But yeah, you will get 3 kind of different sets of locomotives, train sets, EMUs, call them what you will. What the big differences are, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of commuter services. 9 times out of 10, I don't bother with a lot of the commuter service stuff. I actually end up using the old narrow gauge, the Brazilian narrow gauge stuff that Machine Rail put out a long time ago. That's normally what I end up using on a lot of Union Workshop's routes, because the gauge happens to be correct. It happens to fit their stuff, so I can operate steam locomotives out here. But so I really don't know the big differences between the 3. I do know one of them is meant to be AI for the time being. I don't recall which one it is. We have a E231-500 here, a -1000 here, and a -3000 here. I legitimately just made a free roam and set down one of each of the consists, so I don't know which is correct. Like I said, this is entirely a first look. This is legit. I just bought it. We're taking a look at it. Uh, some guys like that, some don't. I like it. I like to kind of see the actual initial reaction, so I'm kind of going to be what I like. So, an initial reaction, this is cool. The route is very well detailed. We are currently sitting in the heart of Tokyo, but I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a heads up right off the bat. I found this out the hard way. You try to make a free roam scenario and choose Tokyo, it's going to send you way out there. Because this route actually, I do know they have plans to push another update for it, which I imagine includes probably an extension. And I do believe that they plan on making whichever one of these is the AI locomotive into a normal drivable set. I think it's this. I'm not dead certain, but don't quote me on that. But yeah, just a heads up. You try to make a free roam, you are going to have to play a little bit with the towns, because it may end up sticking you way out here, where the rails are placed, but the scenery is not progressed. Right now, this is your end of line in the heart of Tokyo. And overall, it does look pretty good. They didn't detail out very far in either direction, and it will absolutely take your computer a second to load a lot of this in. Like right now, I turn back to look at our trains, and my frame rate's dropped down to about 30-ish. Look away, we're hopping up to 50, so it's absolutely going to hurt your frames a little bit, because you're in the heart of Tokyo. Quite frankly, if they had filled all of this in, your computer would struggle. Most people's computers would struggle. So I don't hit on them for that. I get it. Got to make it playable. So next to the rails, the scenery looks really quite nice. Pretty typical of a commuter line. You're going to be in the heart of the city, so there's going to be huge buildings and whatnot all around. There's going to be roads crisscrossing over the route and through the route, underneath the tracks and such, all beside it. One thing I will note, though, that I am a little bit disappointed on is the lack of people. This is a big city, and there's like no people anywhere. Nobody's trackside. Nobody's out next to their car. It's the zombie apocalypse happened, and all 5 people are here. But yeah, so I will say that is a little bit of a disappointment. Just the complete and utter lack of really anybody. There's no people outside of the train platforms. There's no anything really. But it's just quiet. Now, ambient noise is kind of nice. We have our little birds chirping, crows cawing, but the detail is really, really nice. Here's a line that goes over the top here. And I guess this is supposed to be an elevated rail station. The tracks do some funkiness going on up here. And this track here goes down. So yeah, I imagine a commuter rail connection. But yeah, overall the detail is really, really nice. Tracks don't pop out on this side either. It's kind of entertaining. It goes off in various directions. Then it continues on. So we'll go back and grab a train and see if we can't figure out how to make it run, and we'll oogie boogie along here. one thing to do take note of is there is a there's an express line and there's a commuter line. If I'm guessing correctly, the express line is here in the center, out of the way of everything, so you know you can pick up, run A to B, as the name suggests, an express service. But you also have your commuter service here up top, and you know all these different side rails and whatnot for various whatevers. As you can see, it runs down here. Can't run down there. Or I guess can't run below the can't run below the ground, but runs down here, and it's really nicely detailed. It's so empty. It's just, to be the heart of the big city, the complete and utter lack of people is a bit entertaining. You know, you'd expect these platforms to have a lot of people on them. You'd expect to see a lot of people, but there's really not. It did make these two trains drivable. We're gonna see which one of these has a cab. Clearly not this one. So the blue train is the AI, duly noted, and the green train is not the AI. Well, alright then. That answers that question. Now, some of you are going to say, well, why didn't you just read the manual? I didn't feel like spending all day reading the manual and kind of, I don't know, spoiling it a bit. So one of the things I enjoy about buying a new DLC is kind of playing around with it at first, seeing if I can figure stuff out. Seeing what I can figure out without having to immediately go to the manual. So that's kind of interesting. These are weird looking cars, double decker. It's kind of parked in the center here, but anywho, as is usual, their detailing is pretty good looking. The modeling is pretty decent looking. Overall, I have no idea what these things are supposed to look like. I've never been to Japan. As I said, I'm not a big commuter guy per se. I don't care all that much for EMUs and DMUs and such. I'm a steam locomotive guy, so I end up running steam locomotives from machine rail on here. But for those of you that are into it, the detailing does look really quite nice. Let's get rid of our F4 HUD for now because it really hurts our frames. But detailing looks really nice. There's our overhead systems. It's all electric. So I'm going to assume this is the other drivable, the light green is the other drivable train. Huh. Blue's the AI. Did not know that. Now I do. I guess I could have figured that out. Look at there. Lack of anything. Oh well, lack of anything. Oh, here. Lack of anything. Oh, well, guess I couldn't have figured that out. Oh well. Model looks really nice. Ugh. Unfortunately, our field of view is limited left to right. So this is the extent of our field of view. Which, you know, it's not a huge hate. I mean, what are you going to be looking back and seeing? A whole lot of nothing. You know, just see the back wall, but makes me a little bit sad there. Constant speed control, pantograph down button, ETS, throttle and brake handle, reverser, the key, call, emergency brake, Wipers. Cab light. Headlight dimmer. Let's see how bad the cab light works my frame rates. Not too terrible. Not as bad as some. EB reset. Now keep in mind, I have no idea what any of this does. This is a little bit too modern for my taste, but for those of you that wanted to see me do a video, here we are doing the video on it. Sun visors. It's entertaining. It says sun visor left, assuming that I can touch the right. But I don't guess I can. There's our green tea bottle. Nothing there. Can't open the windows or anything, so not quite as wildly detailed as some of their other stuff. Not quite as in-depth as some of their other stuff. I mean, as far as bells and whistles and stuff that I can touch, it's not all that crazy. Ooh, passenger view. Which actually looks really nice. And we got people! To include our dude here. For those of you that played Story of Forest Rail. Pretty sure he's the, what is he, the mechanic? I know, a lot of people thought that the whole story thing, the Story of Forest Rail was cheesy, but I got a kick out of it. I thought it was pretty cool. Pretty sure he was the mechanic for that. But detail-wise, it's pretty decent. Our characters are a little creepy, but that's how simulators go in general. People in simulators tend to be a bit creepy. This guy over here looking at us out of the corner of his eyes. Detail in here looks nice. Let's see if we get other car views. Nope, went out. Darn sad. I was kind of hoping I'd get to sit in whatever this thing is. It kind of has an interior. Not much of one. It looks like this chair car is the only one that really kind of gets a detailed interior. It's kind of weird. I would have thought I'd be able to swap between these, but oh well. Horn's not half bad. It's got a weird, just kind of instant beginning and then it fades away. It's kind of odd. There are wipers. What an interesting third wiper here. Headlights. Might not let me change them until I start going forward. Constant speed control. That's an interesting one. Headlight dimmer. What's that do? Forward does change the color. So neutral, red. Oh, I see that. Changes the lights down here too. Red in rear. Cool. Looks like we don't really... Oh yeah, we do. Question mark. What's this go to? Handbrake, maybe? Oh. Let's get rid of you. Clearly you're not doing me much good. Our speedometer here. Various bells, buttons, wells, whistles and such all along here. There's our whole train. 10-car set. It's actually kind of cool. Let's see if it'll let us open the train doors. Oogie boogie back here. Boink. That sounds pretty cool. Not gonna lie, that sounded pretty neat. They just popped out through the wall. Oh, they just wow, Harry Potter. They just went to Hogwarts in Japan, and they just came from it. Okay. I get it. It's a train sim thing, but it is still funny. It's funny to watch. I'll go ahead and while that's playing through, I'll show you guys the map. So it'll take a second for you guys to kind of sit and, well, maybe if you're a little slow like I am, it'll take a second to really figure out this gaggle of track, because it's a wild network of just spaghetti as far as here. Once you get out here, it's not too bad. But it's not a very large route. If you do the whole express service thing, you'll go point A to point B in no time at all. But if you run a commuter service, it'll take you some time. I'm guessing all of this over here, so if you cut it, boom, most of this map is what is currently in development, if I were a guessing person, because it does actually like loop all around, and you can get all off in here. It's all connected and whatnot, so that was my guess. This is all in development still, but as far as what is finished, I know from here to up to here. Utsunomiya, sure. Where are we at right now? We're in, well, I guess we're not in Tokyo. We're in Ueno. Ueno? Sure, maybe. I don't know. Ueno. Oh, well. See, if you do the Tokyo free roam, it drops you right here. Anywho, let's be sure our tracks are set up before we slam into something we don't wanna. That way we can oogly boogly. Well, that'll slam us into something we don't wanna. Okay. Like I said, it's a gaggle of track work. It definitely takes a second to really figure out where you're going. It might send us that way anyway. Okay. I can back up maybe. Flip through tracks right there. Yeah, let's back up a little bit. Let's see if we can figure out how to back this thing up. So, put it in backwards. So, in, that's neutral. Oh, that's cool. Neat. I don't know what that is. Can I touch any of that? I can't. Huh. I have no idea. Pantographs. Well. Wipers. Yeah, I don't know. Got no clue. Oh well. Maybe I'll do a separate video on these maybe that'll be my next video. I'll do a video of the tutorial, because there is a tutorial. There's a tutorial scenario, I imagine, to show you how to figure out how to get these things moving. So clearly it's not as simple as I thought it'd be, but you know, hey, I'll admit that. Like I said, this is supposed to be a first look. This is supposed to be me diving into it, having no idea what I'm doing, just pushing buttons and such. So we'll just hit the free roam button here. Oogity boogity boo. And we'll oogie along here and see what there is to see along our route. It's not very long, so I should be able to go from end to end. Like I said, the detail is really, really nice. This kind of makes me sad. These huge yards and whatnot, but we have still yet to see any kind of freight services for Japan. No freight trains, no nothing. It's all commuters and high-speed passenger, which, you know, if you like passenger trains, that's not such a problem, but if you like to do mixed stuff or heritage trains and such, it's kind of hard. There's not a whole lot, but whatever. So you can see our high-speed rail up here on top for the express services. It follows along pretty much the same route. It just doesn't have all these stops, all these extra little passenger stops like this, which, wow, that is a huge asset. For those of you route builders, you get a ton of interesting assets out of this. I'm a little bit sad that in some places like this, it's very noticeable right here. It's pretty noticeable that, well, the scenery doesn't continue very far. It's just, you know, a few dozen yards off the side of the rail, which, it's a little disappointing. Not too terrible. Like I say, you'll be spending most of your time in the train anyway, so it's not such a big issue unless you're, you know, somebody that likes to take professional screenshots and whatnot. Then, you know, you might have a complaint or two, but looks like our high-speed rail goes off this way into who knows where. And our commuter line continues down this way. Boy, the bridge asset looks pretty nice too. It can feel a little repetitive, I will say that. It does feel a little repetitive in some places where assets are copy pasted, which I get. You don't want to spend a whole lot of time building a ton of custom assets, but there are some places where it's a little too much copy and paste. Just the lack of people, though. That is probably the most noticeable thing, in my opinion. It's the lack of life. And it's a big city interurban route, and there's like no life. I've noticed no people at all. Yeah, that was one of the enjoyable things of Story of the Forest. Story of Forest route. There was a bunch of little Easter eggs, a bunch of little neat scenes, you know, a bunch of... They like to have the little, the fireflies and such, the cherry blossoms. It just seems to be missing here. Just not a lot of life. The detail is there. All day. Wow, that is huge. Very well detailed. Very Very neat. Just not populated. Looks like a servicing facility there. Do 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 do. Like places like this, little plazas and whatnot, you expect to see some people. Even if they're copy and pasted at that point, it's just something to give it some life. Like that. Look at it. We got a little car going down the road. Yeah, it's much, no, but little things like that. Yeah, you can appreciate little details like that. Like this is a whole separate asset. These little food vending machines. Some nice 3D trees to the side, 3D vegetation off on the side, which is a really, really nice touch. We're going to keep on booking. A lot of these station assets look really nice. Remind me a lot of the Chicago Commuter stuff. And it looks like we're at the end of the line. Yep. So as you can see, it's not very long. I already know there's going to be some people complaining because it ain't long enough. It's not one of those 150-mile point A to point B routes. I have seen that a few times. For those of you that don't believe me, you go to the Steam comments section. It's kind of entertaining. A lot of people will complain because the route's too short. Frankly, length of route does not bother me so much as level of detail. And as you guys saw in our little in our rundown, there's a lot of detail. There's a whole lot of detail. This is a whole interurban route. It's in the heart of city land. So it's very, very detailed. That is really and truly, that's probably my only real complaint that I have as a first look. It's just the lack of people. Yeah, some people, some workers dotted off in here, some random people just dotted here and there would help tremendously give a little bit of life to this route. Because other than that, it looks really, really, really nice. Just wish there were people. And then the rolling stock looks really good overall. Obviously, I'm gonna have to go back and read the manual, do the tutorial, figure out how to get this thing to physically move, because I have no idea. I don't know what I'm doing. It wasn't quite as simple as I thought it would be. But hey, some people like that. I'll probably figure it out once and never touch it again, to be perfectly honest. Machine Rail had those old those little Baldwin 460s that I just adore using on the Japanese routes. They're just perfect. But yeah, I think the route was well worth what I paid. It's not too often I get to say that, but I think the route was fully worth what I paid for it. Do I kind of wish we'd get a little variety as far as Japanese rolling stock goes? Absolutely. I do kind of wish we'd see something other than multiple units. I'd like to see some more flavor, but as it sits, overall, the DLC is excellent. The route is excellent looking. Sounds are not too bad. Obviously, I have no idea what this thing sounds like actually physically moving. But there's not a whole lot to electrics. They're not terribly loud. Not modern ones. I imagine these sound a whole lot like a subway. That's about all I know of that I can compare it to that I've been next to. But like I said, this is a first look for me. This is not I did some research on it, or I already read the manuals, I did a few tutorials. No. This is, I literally just bought it. We're looking at it together. Take it as you will. Later on, I think we'll sit down and I'll do a video and go over the tutorial scenario and learn how to drive their equipment. But yeah, overall, that's my assessment. I think this route looks pretty dang good. I think it's another home run by Union Workshop. Once again, excellent work. We'll be seeing how well a little Baldwin 460 runs along this commuter line in a little while. I think I'll be going to have a little more entertainment with it. But that's about it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys like the first look. You can pick this up in the Steam store. I believe it's $30. Yeah, it's $30. Not too bad. Not for what it is, anyway. Especially given that it's got a major update ahead of it. So I do think it's worth checking out. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time.